Welcome back again to Bankruptcy with Ben. And we have another interesting update coming from the bankruptcy world. And this is one that I think most Americans, for better or for worse, can in some fashion relate to. It involves a health and wellness company that probably most Americans are very familiar with, better known as Weight Watchers. And this is being reported exclusive from the Wall Street Journal pro bankruptcy. Weight Watchers prepares for bankruptcy. The wellness company faces sizable debt maturities as its business struggles. So, some people are struggling with their weight, and Weight Watchers seems to be struggling with their financial weight. I apologize for the pun, but that is going to be a headline that you're going to see again and again and again as Weight Watchers enters the tumultuous waters known as bankruptcy. What is going on? How did such an iconic company end up here? Let's see what the Wall Street Journal tells us. Weight Watchers International, the health and wellness company known as Weight Watchers, is preparing to file for bankruptcy in the coming months. Why? They want to hand control of the business to its creditors. And again, it's something we've seen again and again with many of these companies. There's assets, or there's a potentially profitable business model. There's something there that can be utilized to generate a profit. And therefore, it has value to be sold. So they're saying to the creditors, okay, you guys come take this company and exchange. It's almost like a cash for keys type deal, or keys for cash, right? They give the keys to the company to the creditors. In exchange, the creditors wipe out their debt. The company, which faces financial pressure and disruption from the rise of weight loss drugs like Ozempic, is still negotiating with a key group of lenders and bondholders. So what's interesting is we're seeing a pattern emerge in many of these bankruptcies. In many of these bankruptcies, the companies are always complaining something new and unexpected happened, and that triggering event has now left us in this position where we can no longer be as profitable, right? Forever 21, it was tariffs. Rite Aid, it was the pandemic. Rite Aid was also the opioid crisis. And now for Weight Watchers, it's Ozempic. Ozempic, everyone knows, a very popular weight loss drug. And that competition is leading more and more people to flock to the drug and not to Weight Watchers program. While Weight Watchers would prefer to restructure its balance sheet out of court, of course, court process is very intensive, costs a lot of money. It brings somewhat of a tarnish to your reputation that you're in bankruptcy. It's splashed all over the news. Everyone prefers to kind of work things out quietly outside of court, if possible. If it can't be done, it can't be done. But that's always the ideal. In January, Weight Watchers drew down the remaining $121 million from its $175 million revolving credit facility due next year. What that means is they had access to $175 million of credit, right? So a lender gave them $175 million. You don't use it all in one shot, but it's there. You draw down from it as you need, but it's not meant to all be used in one shot. And what happened was Weight Watchers, they needed all the money, and there was $121 million left, and they used all of it. They needed it, and now it's all gone. The company said the drawdown was intended to provide financial flexibility and not to address near-term liquidity requirements. What that means is they needed more flexibility as the big picture of how they're going to operate their business. Have the ability to spend here, spend there, maybe not spend in this place, but more long-term picture. and not to address near-term liquidity, meaning they're saying we were not just strapped for cash and we needed cash right now and we had no alternatives. No, it's not why we took the money. We took the money because there was long-term goals that we needed. How much of that is true, how much of that will bear out is unknown right now. If they file for bankruptcy, there's going to be a lot of disclosures that they have to make, and we'll see how accurate those statements actually turn out. In addition to the revolver maturity, meaning in addition to the fact that they now used up all this money that they now have to pay back, Weight Watchers has more than $1.4 billion of loans and bonds that came due, that will come due in 2028 and 2029. So they're planning ahead 3 and 4 years ahead. What does this mean? Well, loans, just money they have to pay back. Bonds is essentially a form of a loan too, where you're loaning a part of your company to your creditors. So now they have sort of a portion of the company as a loan, and then you repay it. Simpson Thacher and Bartlett and PJT Partners, all these big fancy names, big fancy firms, which charge $10,000 an hour, are advising the company, while the creditor group is working with another big fancy law firm, Gibson, Dunn & Crutcher, and Hollier and Lokey. Again, just throwing out names, a lot of name dropping. We're really lawyering up. We've got the big guns. We're spending all $100,000 an hour on legal fees. The restructuring discussions began long before the recent bout of market volatility caused by the Trump administration's introduction of tariffs. And that's a key point, because a lot of companies will be quick to jump on any excuse they can find. Market conditions, political, the political conditions, whatever outside circumstances that will say it was some unforeseen circumstance and everything to do with something else but not us. That's what caused it. We're an amazing home run business, and all these other events caused it. And now I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, political realities on the ground, different economic policies imposed by different administrations, whether you're on a national level, federal level, a local level, a state level, all those have real consequences one way or another for companies. But I think the larger point is that if you're a business, you need to be able to withstand the changing political winds. Every 4 years, there's going to be, or either every 4 years or every 8 years, there's going to be a new president. There's always going to be a Democrat president. There's always going to be a Republican president. That's the nature of American politics. And there's always going to be political groups in power in one place, different political groups with different political ideologies in another place. There's always going to be foreign events that happen, right? Life happens. That's the point. Life happens. You need to be prepared for the unforeseen, right? And when I say that, I mean because to an extent, everything is unforeseen. It's just a matter of how you plan for it. At least here, they're admitting that it's unrelated to foreign trade tensions. So it's the fault of Ozempic, but it's not the fault of the new tariff policy. And it's also not the fault of anything we did wrong. Credit rating firms S&P Global Ratings downgraded Weight Watchers in February. So that's already bad. Now their credit is worth even less. And they're saying its subscriber base has aged and its brand is out of favor, especially among younger consumers. So again, if you have a niche market, that's great, but you have to stay atop of the changes. There's always going to be changes. That's just the nature of reality. So while Weight Watchers may have been popular back 10, 25 years ago, right now, especially with new drugs coming out, it's losing popularity. So Weight Watchers had a responsibility to figure out how they're going to compete with these new drugs. And by the way, there have always been weight loss drugs out there in the market. The types of drugs have differed. FDA approval obviously is different for different types of drugs. Different types of drugs have different purposes, but it's not a new thing. So if you're Weight Watchers and you want to distinguish yourself from these drugs, it was incumbent upon you to figure out how to keep up with the changing times. And it seems like for whatever reason, they simply could not keep up. Weight Watchers CEO and CFO both left the company in the past year. So again, their executive leadership is realizing that, hey, things are not going well. It's time for us to leave. Or maybe the other way of looking at it is maybe they're kind of nudged out by people on the board saying, okay, we need a new vision. Our past old leadership is not cutting it. And Oprah Winfrey, everyone knows who Oprah is, a longtime face of the company, stepped down from the board in early 2024, saying she has a conflict of interest because she's now making a special about weight loss drugs. So, to top off everything, you have also a major celebrity that's the face of the company now moving away. So if your market, or at least a part of your market, is the celebrity aspect and celebrity endorsements, maybe they should have also been exploring either A, what, if anything, could have been done to keep Oprah, and maybe they did do it, or were there newer celebrities that they could have gotten involved with. There's certainly no shortage of celebrities or public personalities that are promoting health and wellness. They could have, or possibly should have, found some way to try to tie all that in and help their brand out. Bottom line, it's really a shame. Weight Watchers was an iconic brand, and this could potentially be the end of them. This could be the end of the line for them. I hope not. I hope they have a way out of it. I don't want to see them fail. I don't want to see any company fail. But I just think sharing these ideas is important. If you're a business owner, you should always be keeping the future in mind. If you're a creditor, you should also keep the future in mind. See how businesses are performing. Stay in touch. Keep lines of communication open. I hope everybody got some value from this. We hope to see better news from Weight Watchers. But either way, we'll keep everybody posted. Hope everyone enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you all on the next one.